DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
All right, we are live. Good evening, everyone. It is Monday night. Time to get into our talking industry stuff. Sometimes we talk business, sometimes we talk performance, sometimes we talk about things that are not important at all. But tonight, we've got important stuff to talk about. Casey is my guest. Good evening, Casey. How you doing?
Good evening, John. Thank you for having me on again.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for joining and coming in to talk about a pretty big topic. As you guys can see right above, we even put the topic on the top. We're talking bridal shows tonight.
Very good.
Yeah, yes. So we just pretty much, for a lot of us, we finished up our January bridal shows.
Right.
And it's time to do something with that. In my particular case, I love our local bridal shows that are so advanced that they compile a list and then they mail that list out 2 weeks later.
Okay, that's pretty terrible.
That's kind of bad. But some people get their stuff. One of the shows emails it out the next day, and you know, modern technology is obviously making it so people have got a list.
Well, I own two bridal show companies, one in Chicago, one in Milwaukee. We have them out at the latest by 5 o'clock on Tuesday. With complete contact information, name, address, city, state, zip, phone, email. So the clients, my clients, the vendors, can contact their brides however they choose, whether that be direct mail, direct email, or through the old school method of telemarketing. So that's there. But my goal is to get it to them as quickly as possible. And even when we've gone out of town, Dina, who's my business partner in one of the businesses, we even went to Wedding MBA last October, and we had a bridal show on Sunday. We flew out that night, and we still had the stuff out by Monday morning or by Monday afternoon. So there's absolutely no excuse not to have it within a couple of days.
Not in this day and age when things are, in many cases, so automated and with the digital. I can see the old days where it was all handwritten but it's a different world. When you guys are compiling these lists, I've seen this myself where brides are giving, they're putting up, Bob and Stacy's wedding at gmail.com.
Right.
Are you guys seeing quite a bit of that yet, or are people?
We see it all the time, and our ticketing is all digital, very much like a Ticketmaster. We don't ever mail tickets. Brides will either come in with their phone and show us the barcode on their phone, or they'll print out their own tickets and bring them in. So you have to give us an email of some kind in order to get your tickets. So despite a lot of the things where people go, I tried your show and your list was bogus, that's not true because the bride never would have gotten her tickets. So, and these are like the things that unfortunately some wedding vendors that don't do the follow-up, which is what we're here to talk about, need to do in order to book themselves solid, to really fill it. And my belief is whether you're an independent DJ or photographer or limo company owner to a multi-op, my belief, not because I'm a bridal show promoter, but because I was a bridal show vendor and I still am with a lot of other shows, not that I don't produce. I still exhibited I produce 18 a year, and we probably exhibited about another 15 to 18 a year.
Right. From
the small venues hosting their own to a friendly competitor that does them. But I believe in them. It's you put a bride in front of me, and I'm going to do everything I can to charm her, get her to trust me, show her what is unique and different about our company. And then I'm going to follow up after. And again, whether you're a multi-op and you're using that list to shotgun it out, or if you're an independent and you want to just go through the Excel sheet and highlight the weekends you want to work and black out all of the weekends that you're already booked, then you can sniper it and just pick which weekends, you want to call on and either mail or email or telemarket or what have you. I think it's an unbelievable prospecting tool.
For those who have something in their booth where people can sign up and such, was there a difference in how you would contact, say, someone who came to your booth and gave you their information there compared to how they did with that list you're going to receive from the show?
I don't think that my bridal show company is any different than most bridal show companies. We all try to get brides to pre-register. because nobody wants to just hope they show up that day. That list is given out to every exhibitor, and even if that bride didn't come to the show, that couple is still a bride or groom to be, or two grooms or two brides to be that are planning a wedding. And so they're still a viable source of prospecting. Even if they couldn't make it that day for whatever reason, they're still a legitimate lead for you. So the fact of the matter is, again, I believe in it. And now when I'm in my booth, we have our own sign-up forms, but it asks specific questions about either my photography business or my floral business or my disc jockey business, with questions that are relevant to that. And so for me, those are what I call my hot lists. Okay? We get those into the computer the night of the show. So whoever works that show, one person for each company, those leads go into the show that night saying, thank you for stopping by our bridal show booth earlier today. And that's that. And to a degree, I think it is the early bird catches the worm. And if anyone thinks like, oh, you're pounding on me, that's not the case. About 30 minutes ago, one of my salespeople at my photography division called a bride that we had emailed information to on Friday.
Okay.
She just requested it Friday. She called to do the hi, how are you? Did you get a chance to look it over the weekend? She said, yeah, we did, but we already booked somebody. And from Friday, collecting information from an email inquiry to Monday, she's already off the market. So it isn't that we're trying to be persistent. It's that we're trying to be first. And that's what it comes down to. Obviously, this client talked to a DJ on Friday, okay, and not only got the stuff emailed, but that, not DJ, but this photographer managed to convince him to come in, sit down. They fell in love with each other, booked it, and that's it. And you're done and gone. So I know a lot of people on Sunday night are like, oh, thank God the show's over. It was so long, and I had trusting, and I had monitors, and I had this, and then I took my staff out for dinner. Look at last night's football game. It went to the very end of the game. I mean, even if you look at sports for the whole last 12 months, the teams that played to the end are the teams that won. The Cleveland Cavaliers played to the end. They were down 3-1. They came back and they won. Chicago Cubs, same story. Last night, New England Patriots, you play to the end. And that's the way that it goes.
I think I could see Gary Vaynerchuk there with a little thing talking about the person who wins is the one who doesn't stop at, in essence, 5 o'clock and goes and does that. And that's a prime example of that. Yeah.
When I used to sell advertising, there was somebody in the office that always said, never take it as a no, take it as a not now. Now, in our world, it's different. When that bride has booked our service, whatever it might be, that's just the way that it is. But at the same point in time, if we're following up and they've already booked DJ, I'm going to immediately ask them, but do you have your decor lighting? Do you have your photo booth? And you'd be surprised, about 50% of them go, oh, I forgot you even did that. Oh, well, let's talk about it. I'm okay with it. I have no ego. I have no problem putting my photo booth in with one of my competitors, in competing DJ companies. I just want to work.
Right.
And that's what it comes down to. So that's where my head is at.
Do you think the younger couples, millennial, that are starting to come through and are getting married, do you think you're seeing where they will make those quicker decisions where they want to make and hire, they want to research and find something within 24 hours?
Absolutely. And let's take a look. Let's go out of the wedding business. Netflix. I want to watch a TV series. I want to watch a whole season. Click a button. There it is. I want to rent a movie on demand. I want to listen to music. Download immediately. Sirius satellite radio. This millennial generation has grown up with an instant gratification mentality, driven originally out of who could give better customer service, and who could serve the customer the fastest. Now, I think a lot of times we in the wedding business turn around and think of it as, oh, this is a nice, slow, romantic process, and they're going to look around and they're going to do this. You're not listening to today's millennials, okay? When you can go to Amazon and you can look at the product, read what it's all about, see a half a dozen pictures of a certain product, find out what it is, read 7 different reviews from past people that have purchased that product, and then click a button and have it the next day.
Yeah.
This is just the way that it is. You go to Open Table, you see the food, you see pictures of the restaurant, you can make a reservation, you've seen the reviews, bam, done, end of story. Even myself, I already have dinner reservations for Mobile Beat Las Vegas already set up so that I don't even have to worry about it. Like, it's done. Because as you know, going to DJ shows, everyone's like, what do you want to do for dinner? I don't know. Can this person go? No. So I just took the initiative and said, hey guys, I'm going here on this day, I'm going here on this day, I'm going here on this day. You want to join me? Yes or no? I made the reservations, it was done. And that's it. So, and I'm certainly not a millennial. So, but that's today's technology. So why not?
So it's really getting to the point now where making it easy to buy and almost making it so that they could buy our services online, which really thumbs the nose in many of the people who will be speaking at the conventions, where they're talking about, we need to meet and get in front and sell and such. And yet the buying.
I don't disagree with that, because I think both photography and DJ and probably 80% of the wedding choices are still very personal. Okay. However, making it as convenient as possible for them to come in and meet with you, or should you decide you want to go meet with them at a Panera or a Starbucks or what have you, that's your business model. But the faster and easier that you get back to them, that you can service them, they know that's the way it's going to be. Now, the hard part is if they email you at 10:30 at night and you're up watching television, and you shoot them back an email because you care about your customers, just understand that they're going to expect you to be available to them at 10:30 at night. And that means, if you choose to do business on your phone, which I personally don't, they're going to expect that, And at Wedding MBA, it was really interesting. The Knot had a seminar talking about shopping with millennials, and they had done a study, and it was something like 40% of the brides they talked to said that they expected to hear back from a wedding vendor within 8 hours. 40% expected to hear back within 24 hours. And like 20% expected to hear back within an hour. Okay? Didn't matter what time of day that they sent in the request for information or they sent their email. Okay? They wanted to hear back within an hour.
All right.
Sunday night, it's 8:30 at night. They send an email, they want an answer. And so that's that. And I've said this before at multiple seminars I've given. Brides and grooms, as a vendor on your list, are like fruits and vegetables. If you don't consume them, they will perish. And what I mean by that is they're going to go to Acme Widget DJs or 123 DJs or ABC DJs because they want to get stuff done. And that's just the way that it is. So again, I'm all about showing initiative. I'm all about hustling. I'm all about making it happen. Very Gary Vaynerchuk. So, I mean, that's that. And, Monday's a big day here at the office. We hustle it. We work it. We get things going. So that's that. I know for a lot of people, it's exhausting, but I just read on the Knot, somebody had, they made a list of the top 10 mistakes wedding vendors make. And I think DJs are one of them. And one of them is taking Monday off. I know that we're exhausted, but when brides-to-be are going back to work, Monday's their day to start doing some digging and some shopping. And part of it is that mentality that they have the whole week ahead of them.
Yes. So
they can cheat a little bit on Monday, look around the Knot, look around Wedding Wire, look around Google, look around your local wedding website, see and hear, who they think are great, look at the websites, and that's it. If you take Monday off, that to me is like taking Black Friday off. That's just not smart business.
That's a great point. That leads into one of the questions I had is if a person has the list and say you're working, you got a show where they are getting it to you immediately,
Yep.
What would be the best time to do an initial email contact for them?
Personally, whenever you get that list, I would have an email campaign within like a constant contact or a vertical response or an end flyer, or there's a million services out there. I would have that email already set to go. So the minute you get the list, you can immediately upload it and shoot it out. Okay. There's a lot of studies, and the hard part with all the studies is everybody thinks this and some people argue that. And logically, to me, I still think Monday afternoon is the best, because Monday morning you clear out your inbox from the weekend, and then you work in the morning, and then you go to lunch. And when you come back from lunch, you jump on your inbox again, to which there might be a half a dozen. And again, if it's early enough in the week and they're not buried with work, they may take the time to take a look at what you have to say. But I've read studies where Saturdays are the best, Sundays are the best, and I've emailed out so many times for so long that I logically think Monday's the best, but I also think it's like anything. It's repetition, repetition, repetition. So that's all.
When you're saying repetition, meaning that you have multiple touches, that say your first email goes out and then the second email goes out, and
yeah. And personally, if you're a one service vendor, I think that having your message with a couple of different images, same message, okay, same consistency, but maybe different photographs, or that I think that you should be sending those out once a week, once every 2 weeks, and stay in front of them. Because, I mean, again, going back to yesterday, remember, were you in Atlantic City when Lady Gaga performed at the promo only party?
I was, but I wasn't there. I was out having dinner.
Okay, but everyone's like, who is this chick? Da, da, da. And then she kind of broke, and it took a while. And it's like anything. You need to establish your brand. They say it takes like 33 touches before people know who you are. And in the wedding business, I think everything's on a 90-day cycle, okay? The minute that John decides he's going to book his DJ or his photographer or his venue, within 90 days of deciding that, it's done, okay? You've done the research, you found out what the price level, the price points are from the low to the high, and then what do you call it? And then you decide what the best value is. And really the best value even there is how much they value what it is that you do. So, I never get offended if they can't afford me. I just know I have to have enough marketing on the street in order to get the next bride that will value me through the door.
Got a question here from the chat room. We'll be taking questions, gangs, if you've got some. South Obsession had. In Drax and I've talked about this a little bit. Closing percentages. What would you consider once you get a person who's a legitimate prospect?
Well, let's go back to the reason I believe in, even though the show promoter gives you the leads, I believe in collecting them in the booth. Okay, and again, the reason for it is, yes, you get the list 2 days later, but there's 3 types of brides at every bridal show. The bride that doesn't need your service because they've already booked it, and they're looking at the bridal show for other things, which is okay. Be super nice, give them a card, let them know if anything happens, you're there to help. Number 2, the bride's like, oh my God, I just got engaged this past Christmas, and I'm so excited, and I have no idea how expensive weddings are. Okay, and that's okay. Be polite, be nice, be respectful, chat them up. And then there's the third one, which is your target. My wedding is June 25th. It's at the Hilton, and I'm looking for a DJ now. Okay? Those are your key. That's what you want to focus on, because they're telling you that. Now, here's the other thing. I know this is about follow-up, but here's the biggest mistake I see at bridal shows by everyone. People don't ask for an appointment, and I don't understand why. Okay? It isn't like dating where you start with getting the phone number, then you call and ask her out. Okay? And you decide what she likes Indian food or doesn't like Indian food. No. You already know that she's looking for a DJ. She's got a venue. You want her through your door as quickly as possible. Even if you don't have a formalized appointment book, on the back of her registration card, ask her, when do you want to come in for consultation? Okay, here's our show special. Here's our inducement. or we book up really quickly. I'd love to, I feel like I'm clicking with you. I'd love to talk about your wedding. When are you available? The fact of the matter is, if you leave with 15 appointments and even half of them show up, you're going to book 7 weddings within 2 or 3 weeks. Okay. Now, going back to your thing about closing this and closing that, that's a tough one. That's like saying, how many weddings should you book if you got 8 systems? It's a very vague thing. Again, going back to the 3 types of brides, you don't know when that bride that's walking around excited and going through that rite of passage is going to be ready to shop for you, which is, again, why I believe you just keep putting your name in front of her so that when she is ready to talk DJ, you hope that you put your message in front of her proactively, politely, and in a positive light so that she will indeed follow up with you and consider your service. So, that's what I run into the most. I know this is what to do with the list. Use it, okay? It's like that Stairmaster that you have in the corner of your house that's covered in clothing that you're never going to iron, okay? It doesn't do you any good in the corner, okay? And putting the list on your desktop and saying you received it does you no good. As a bridal show promoter, I can tell you, less than 20% of my vendors use the list. And
I would not have guessed it would be that low.
And that is Milwaukee and Chicago, and it's the craziest thing in the world. But I'll tell you, my most successful ones are the ones that are always emailing. I'm getting postcards in the mail, and we're, as a bridal show promoter, we track to make sure that no one is trading that list or giving that list. And for those of you that are going, oh, listen, we're not dumb, okay? We're going to put a fake name in there and a fake email. And if you give it to John, your photographer friend, we're going to catch you, okay? Don't ruin a great marketing opportunity by trading it with somebody else, okay? It just isn't worth burning that bridge. So the fact of the matter, though, is that consistent follow-up is going to consistently make your phone ring. And again, whether you're an independent or a multi-app, you can look at that Excel sheet, put your finger right to that weekend, and try and fill your calendar with it. Whether you have your Fridays or Sundays, you don't ever want to do a corporate holiday party. So the first thing you do is go to all of your Christmas weddings and you try to fill December and January with weddings. Then you have that list and you can pick and choose how you want to try and book yourself. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Certainly does. Next question was one of our viewers, Tom is in more of a destination area, and wondering how a person would go about trying to schedule appointments and such, being that he's in a destination location where the bride obviously is bride and groom or the couple are from out of town.
I would do it via like a Skype setup, or possibly even do a. Forgive me, it's been a long day. Like a PowerPoint presentation via the internet. Why can't I think of it?
TeamViewer does a GoToMeeting, has something.
Yeah, like a GoToMeeting.
Even Zoom, what we're using right now, is this is actually what I prefer is Zoom, because one of the things I don't like about Skype is that I have to accept a request back and forth, and it gets a little bit, I get their contact information. Some people are a little sketchy, they're like, oh, yeah. Really? Zoom, on the other hand, there's a free option, gang, and all you have to do is go to zoom.us and sign up for it, and then you can use that, and you just have to email the bride or groom or the folks a link, and that way they'll hook up and you guys can talk, but that way you're not getting private information that they may not want to share with you because they don't want to have you Skype messaging them at all hours. Like if you've ever had a Chinese company want to connect with you via Skype, you'll find out that they will spam you.
Well, that's what I would recommend, for any long distance. And like you said, the technology is there. The biggest thing is utilizing that list, and the show isn't over on Sunday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock. That's honestly where it's just starting. What are the questions? You're reading away.
Yeah, I'm just checking here. There was a couple. One thing that came up when you were mentioning, the in essence trading of the list or selling the list. If there was a couple of vendors who were at the show and say that my company and I've got a photographer friend who's here and I've got a videographer friend and the three of us were going to kind of pair up and send out a mailing or something to that effect, would that violate?
No, not at all, because all three of you are advertisers. My job isn't to just protect me, but my job is to protect you as my advertiser.
Yep.
If you give that list off to a limo company, then you're hurting the limo companies that are placing their faith in me to drive business to their door. Okay? And that's the way that goes. And you know what? It doesn't have to be complicated. And it happens a lot. And truthfully, I just tell people, like, if you continue to do it, you're just not going to exhibit with me anymore.
Right.
And I'll replace you with somebody else. And it's not, a lot of people have these, like, I'm going to sue you for $400,000. They're not legal. So they're not going to hold up in court. And realistically, their attorney is drawn up some crazy, like, we're going to you agree to let us rip your fingernails out. It's dumb. Okay? They're dumb. And they're not enforceable. And no bridal show company, unless you're going after like a huge company who's not going to do it anyway, they're not going to go after you.
Yeah.
Because it's just a waste of time and space, and it just isn't worth it. But again, if you want to become known as being that guy, then that's that.
And unfortunately, there's a lot of those guys out there.
You know what? I'll be the first to admit, like, I made a lot of mistakes when I was young. I wanted to go to this bridal show so badly, and I didn't have the money. I was like 20 years old or 21 years old. I had just started my first DJ company. We fired the parking lot, and we got caught by the police, and they made us remove every single one. Mm-hmm. And it was dumb, and it was unethical, but I didn't know it at the time. I thought I was being clever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look, no one's doing this. Let's do this.
Right. And you thought, oh my God, these fuckers in the other room. I've known of other people that have rented a room across the hall from the banquet or from the bridal show at the same hotel, and they've set up the room with lights and a DJ and all of this because they don't want to pay the bridal show promoter $1,000, but they'll pay the hotel $500, and that's it. And again, I've seen it all with the unethical and the ethical. When I was young, I made mistakes. Now I try to reduce the number of mistakes that I make, and that's it. And listen, I think that a bridal show is the safest investment you can make. I don't care what business you're in, photography, video, DJ, limousine. When a bridal show promoter is bringing people to you, then it's on you. And you're either a good salesperson or a bad salesperson.
Right.
And that's it. So, and then when you follow up, if you're a good salesperson, that person appreciates you following up.
Yep.
But also think about what you're doing, because again, when you get that big list and you send out an email that says, thank you for stopping by our bridal show booth, if that list includes people that didn't go to the show, you look stupid. Okay, you look insincere. You don't even have to mention the bridal show. You can just mention Acme Widget Wedding Company, and we're here to serve you. That's all. So that's my opinion anyway.
Mm-hmm. Fake email addresses.
Yep.
So you mentioned, of course, in your particular case that you're using the email system to deliver tickets.
Right.
Which, of course, would mean that their email addresses are going to be valid. But I know Thomas mentioned that getting fake email, and I know some of our small town where you can buy the tickets, physically buy the ticket at the dress shop and show it at the door, or buy it at the door. Is there any recommendation for when they run into that, where there is a bad email address?
You know what? Unfortunately, that's like the girl that gave you a fake phone number at the bar. And it's interesting. But I mean, that's the reality. But here's what I believe. 95% of brides, they want information. Okay? They want to learn. I mean, let's go back to what a wedding is. Okay? According to the Knot, like a wedding today is $35,000. I'm in Chicago, and in the city of Chicago, it's $60,000. So no pressure, but you have to throw a wedding. You have to do something you've never done before in the grandest scale you've ever done it in. Okay. It's the most expensive night of your life. You're going to be doing it for, on average, 141 people. Okay. Of which half of them you probably don't even know because they're either a guest of a friend of yours or they're friends of your parents or what have you.
Yes.
So the fact of the matter is you do this all and you have 14 months to do it and no pressure because of websites like The Knot and Wedding Wire and Pinterest and everything else. They're showing every unique and different thing that you can have. So of course you don't want the beige wedding with, vanilla frosting and vanilla cake. Like you want it to be your own signature, you want it to be your own way. So of course these brides are stressed out. So in your solicitations and the one thing that people seem to forget the most is if you can help them and not sell to them, okay? You tell them why you're going to be great at their wedding because of how you do personalized introductions or a love story, or because you know all the places to take pictures if you're a photographer, or your limos are brand spanking new, or whatever your selling advantage is, or what makes you unique. That's, if you can prove to them that you're helping them, they're going to happily do business with you. Okay. And, the other big stigma a lot of people have is bridal shows bring out budget brides. They don't. They bring out new brides. Okay.
Yes.
So it's another statistic from that. 45% of all brides go over their budget. Okay. So again, this is my budget. But then they realize that, they don't want beer and wine. They want a full bar or they want an upgraded wedding cake, and that's that. I mean, think about it. 10 years ago, nobody did uplighting. Now uplighting is at every wedding. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, people are going to photo booth, and now you see them every single weekend. So again, people start with a budget, and then that budget tends to get larger, and that's it. In the floral industry, people are shocked constantly with what flowers cost, and the nice part is in the floral industry, moms tend to come in and save the day, and they turn around and say, we want you to have what you want, and they'll do that. I have yet to figure it out for DJ, but it's usually mom and daughter coming in for floral, whereas DJ is the main couple. So
funny.
So what else we have?
Just before we wrap it up, when would be the last time? Don't.
Right. When they email me back, if you send me another email, I'll kill you. Okay. Or when they agree to meet with you. And again, I don't mean to be disrespectful because we are super polite and nice. We use a system like a constant contact. We use vertical response. Mm-hmm. And at the bottom, they can unsubscribe. And I don't want to bother anybody.
Oh.
They've unsubscribed. Beforehand, so pace it. Some brides, are quick. Some brides are booking 18 months out. It just depends on, what's their priority. So if it were me, I would keep calling until my calendar is full. Okay. And that's what it comes down to. If you're booked on that Saturday, then cross them all off. Okay. And then keep going and keep going and keep going. And again, be polite. I know that it's very tough telemarketing these days. You never talk to anybody. It's always voicemail. I'm going to tell you to do it anyway, because what they can't hear in an email or a text or what have you is the warmth in your tone.
Yes.
Hi, John. We can make your wedding 5-0 excitement, and you're giving them permission to fire you.
Yes.
They've already booked somebody. I got your message, but we already booked somebody. Okay.
And that happens. I mean, that's just part of you won't win them all. That's one thing we've learned in this industry.
And the biggest thing too, when you do the follow-up is this. You make 100 phone calls. You book one wedding. You still went home with one more wedding than you didn't. Okay. Yes. Don't focus on the number of voicemails or the number of postcards you send or whatever. Focus on the number of bookings that you're taking. Okay? And that's it. Don't worry about the no's. Worry about the yeses. Because that's all that matters is the yeses.
Very true.
Okay? Either way, you can't pay your mortgage by telling the bank's not going to hear, well, I had 90 no's. If you get the yeses, you don't have to worry about paying your mortgage because you'll have the money. And that's just the way that it is. So that's just part of sales.
Yeah.
And not being afraid to be told no.
Good stuff, Casey. Good stuff. If people have any questions they'd like to just run past you in private, what's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
My email is kc@keithchristopher.com. You can find me on Facebook, facebook.com/Keith Christopher KoKoruz. You can try and figure that one out. Actually, I'm sure that you'll post something underneath it where you can get in touch with me. So,
yeah, I'll put your Disc Jockey News email address under there so people can jump on that and send you a message.
And then my shameless plugs, if I can get them in, just like at the end of a Tonight Show interview. I'm going to be speaking at the Canadian DJ Expo coming up next month. And then I will be attending, but not speaking, at Mobile Beat. So if you see this, come by and say hello. And then I'll be speaking at the Photo Booth Expo in March as well. So, please come by, and I hope that you learned something. If nothing else, come by, say hello, and see you, chat, say hello.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yes, we will be seeing you here in just a little over a month and a half here as time's getting close. Thank you very much, Casey. We will be back in about 20 minutes with our second Monday night show.